Oh, it's a Welcome to another Hog Out. We're live. Australia are getting absolutely pounded by Pakistan in Adelaide as we speak. We'll be having a quick discussion about that. We'll talk about the Indian team over in South Africa. And if you want to ask your questions about the Border Gavaskar Trophy, well, help yourselves out. We've got a special guest, Granell. We're also going to go through the IPL teams as well, just very quickly. All right, let's roll bumper and get right into it, AK. Australia, before we talk about India, South Africa, Australia made 163. Pakistan are none for 11 off 2.2 overs and look as though they're going to dominate this game here in Adelaide. And then they come to Perth, my hometown, and I'll be commentating on radio there. So good luck to Pakistan as we move forward. India versus South Africa, that's up first, and we've got the squads here. Can we throw the Indian squad up first, please? The first game is over in Durban. Surya Kumar Yadav, captain of India. How good is he? Brilliant. Sanju Samson, Riku Singh, Jetty Sharma. He'll be keeping over there. Ramandeep Singh. He's been kept by the Kolkata Knight Riders. It's his turn to shine. And how lucky are KKR? They've got Rana and Ramandeep Singh, who might be representing India in the near future, but they've picked them up in the auction for a cheap price. Then we got Hardik Pandya. Going back to that, as players that haven't represented their country. So Ramandeep Singh and Rana could have been worth a little bit more in the auction if they had played for India and been good performance for India over the next couple of weeks. Hardik Pandya, Abhishek Sharma, I love him out the top of the order. Axar Patel, Tilak Varma, Arshdeep Singh, Varun Chakravarti, Brishnoi, and Vijay Kumar. Dale, I love Dale, and it's good that RCB kept him, and Avish Khan. I think that is a quality team. The strength here for India is solely in the batting. They don't have the big guns in the bowling department, in the pace department, but I like to see Yash Dale get a good opportunity here in these T20s. I think he's good with the new ball, good out the death, and I think this is going to be good for his development up against a quality batting lineup of South Africa. And let's just flip it over to the South African team. And there's a couple of players here that are going to test the bowlers of India, and that's on Hendricks. Reza Hendricks out the top of the order. I love him. And also Klasan in the middle, coming in at number 4. I love the way that he plays against spin, and Indian spin department are going to have to get on top of him. Otherwise, he might take the game away for South Africa. And then you've also got Miller and Stubbs as well. Those 3 players are phenomenal. And the guys to watch out with the ball here, Jansen and Coetzee. I like their extra pace. I like their aggression. And I just feel as though India have more depth in the batting, but more depth in the spin bowling department. It's the pace department that will not allow India to get over top of South Africa. But South Africa have their holes as well. There's a couple of new players in there without that experience who are getting exposed as well in that bowling department. So this is going to be a close series. It's good that India are sending their second team over there. It's fantastic because their main team's coming here to Australia playing the Test series. But I think India are going to win this series simply because they've just got the better spinners on deck. Rightio, let's just quickly go through the IPL here. The IPL mega auction, the retentions. Can we get the first one up? I think we've got DC up there straight away. Delhi Capitals have got Patel, Yadav, Stubbs, and Paral. They've got 2 right to matches as well. I like the fact that they kept Stubbs instead of Fraser McGurk and David Warner. I just think he's young. He's strong in that middle order. He made some big runs under pressure last year, and he's also got a little bit more aggression. So you've got to go with that youth. They didn't keep Pant there. And what I'm thinking here is that Pant is going to follow Ricky Ponting to Punjab Kings 11. Well, they've also got 2 right to matches there, which I think is extremely smart for the Delhi Capitals moving forward. But really, they didn't keep any of their pace attack, and they didn't keep any of their top order batters. They just kept that lower order batter, which is a bit of a worry for me, because you need to make sure that you've got at least one in your top 3 in your list still there. Who's the next team that we've got up there, please? AK Gujarat Titans. They've kept Khan, Gill, Sutherland. I like that. The young left-handed batsman. I think he really shone last night, and I think it's smart to keep those 2 youngsters there, in Gill and Suttarasan, and Tawatia and Khan. Just a little concern with there, but you're keeping 2 players in the auction that haven't represented India, and you can get them for a cheap price. Then you don't have to tussle with other teams to keep those youngsters moving forward. So I think Gujarat Titans have done extremely well here. They've got a right to match their cards for any other players that they want to keep in this lineup. So well done to Gujarat Titans. All right, we've got the next team up there, please, AK, that we've got here, KKR. Now, KKR, I thought they were really smart in keeping Rana and Rinku Singh as uncapped players. I thought that was fantastic, and they've definitely gone with their game plan as before. Hang on. Yeah, Harshit Rana and while we've got Rinko Singh there, we've made a little kerfuffle there in the graphics, but there's 2 players that they kept in the retention phase, and then they've gone for Rinko Singh, Chakravarti, Narayan and Russell as their main players. I think that is exceptional. They've still got 51 crore left. Plenty of money to spend in the auction to really fill up that top order with the bat and find one outright bowler to another pace bowler to help Rana. I'm really hoping that Rana plays in the Test series down here in Australia. Next team, please. AK LSG. They've kept Paran. I think he was the dominant player for them last year. Khan with the bowling and Badoni. I think keeping those 2 players as uncapped players is essential. One quality bowler, one good lower order batter, and then Yadav and Bishnoi. I think Yadav's got so much potential. He's got extra pace. You've got to keep him there. And Bishnoi, one of the aggressive spinners, wicket takers in those middle overs. I think that's well balanced from Lucknow Super Giants. And they've still got 69 crore left to really buy some players around those quality players. So well done to LSG. The next squad that we're going to quickly look at, because I want to get the special guest on and talk about it, Punjab Kings 11. I can't understand why they kept Shashank and P. Singh here. Shashank, maybe he averaged a good 40 last year at a good strike rate, but P. Singh, he only averaged 23 but had a high strike rate. I think Ricky Ponting and the crew there might think that he's got plenty of upside, but I couldn't see that last year. But the good thing about it, they've got 110 crore to spend. They're going to go hard after Pant. There is no doubt about that. There's some quality stock in the auction that weren't kept by other teams, and the prices of those particular high-profile players is going to be in the extremities, and other teams with smaller balances in their in whatever's left over won't be able to afford those players. So Punjab Kings are in a perfect position to set up a good squad with the money that they've got left there, but I couldn't understand why they kept piecing there. I just thought they should have just gone with Shashank. But anyway, that's the way they've done it. Who have we got up next? Gee, there's a lot of IPL teams. Rajasthan Royals. Now, there's a few things here that I just can't understand. I like the thing, Sandeep Sharma. I love that they've kept him. He's an underrated bowler, always delivers, and I think that they've got him at a crucial price there. Fantastic. You've got an elite bowler who can bowl with a new ball and not bad out the death as well. Well done to Rajasthan there. Keeping Hetmeyer with that big hitting in the middle order, because you've got Sanju Samson, Jaswell up the top as your opening batters. Then Parag coming with Hetmeyer and Jurul coming in that lower order as well. Just with Jurul, I just thought they might have overspent here. They might have been able to throw him back in the auction and got him for a cheap price and use the right to match card, but they didn't. They want to keep him here. And the reason why I think they want to keep him, if you look at the age group of those batters there, Parag, Samson, Jaswell and Jurul, I think they're a close-knit group. They're young, and Rajasthan Royals want to build a future around these 4 players moving forward. That is smart. They see a bit of upside in Jurul. He's made a couple of 50s, but he really hasn't set the world alight. But there is a little bit of talent there. He's only 23, and they need that keeper. I thought it was smart. Throw Butler back in the auction and see if they get him cheaper. Great stuff by Rajasthan. Brilliant stuff, but you've only got 41 grand left. That might be a bit of an issue moving forward. Next one, please. Okay, here we go. Quickly, Sunrisers Hyderabad. Klasan, Cummins, Abhishek Sharma, Travis Head, and Reddy. Reddy was an interesting one, but they wanted to keep an all-rounder there. They see plenty of upside in the youngster there. I think this is class by Sunrisers Hyderabad, keeping all these players for a fair price. If they all went back into the auction, any one of them, except for probably Reddy, the paddle would have been going absolutely berserk, and they probably wouldn't have been able to find or use the right to match, because the expense of some of these players might just be pushing out the budget. So well done, Sunrisers Hyderabad there with one right to match card to be utilised in the auction. Smart play there. Next one, please. AK. They might use that right to match on with Boogie as well, as we're waiting for the next one to come up. Where is it, AK? Have we got the next one coming up? The next team? Who have we got? Okay, we're a little bit slow. Oh, we're a bit slow there. Yep, it's coming. If we can't get that up, we might be able to get the guest on straight away. We seem to have a bit of a lock, but on my side, it seems to be going. So far, we've got the Mumbai Indians to go forward as well. I think the Mumbai Indians have done extremely well. They've kept the core of their players. There was a lot of talk there about getting rid of Rohit Sharma, but Sharma was always going to start the Mumbai Indians. He lives in Mumbai. Why would you want to spend 2 months in another city? Varma, he is a big catch. He's one that they wanted to keep. If he was not there, a lot of teams would have been after him, because there's a lot of upside for him, and he's going to be a quality IPL player moving forward. Yadav and Hardik Pandya, definitely had to keep those two. You've got an Indian all-rounder there who bowls medium pace. It's essential. You've got Suryakumar Yadav, who's probably the best bat in T20 cricket, and then you've got the best bowler in the world at the moment, Bumrah. Now, that is a good core group of players. It's the heart of the Mumbai Indians, and they are looking strong going into the auction with 45 Crow going still in the pocket. The reason why I think they're looking strong is because they have got the best of the Indian contingent in T20 cricket. So well done to Mumbai Indians for keeping those players. And you might even see Krunal Pandya coming in, because he was not kept by his team. Are there any other teams that we've got left there? Oh, we've got RCB and CSK. CSK. Why did they keep MS Dhoni for 4 crore? I don't understand that. But they wanted to keep their leader there, and it's good that he's still playing and still in the team yellow. But I like the fact that they kept Dubey, Gaikwad and Jadeja, 3 Indian players that really give you upside. 2 youngsters, 1 big hitter, 1 leading out the top, and a good spinning all-rounder. Paddy Rana, he really deserves the money that he's getting. He's probably the best death bowler apart from Boomerang in this IPL. And I just think there's a lot of upside, and I think they might use him for one over with the new ball this year as he gains a little bit more control. He's very hard to get away. Well done to CSK there. Oh, we're 15 minutes there, and we've got one more team to go. RCB and Kohli, Patidar, and Dale. I just like the fact that they kept these three players. Kohli being your leader. Patidar, he was really starting to dominate in the IPL last year and find his feet. Two quality Indian players there that you spent big money for. And then Dale, as I said in the lead up with his inclusion in the squad over in South Africa, he's been one of the best bowlers with the new ball, and he's also very good in the death overs as well. I like the way that he goes about it, and I think RCB have done the right thing in keeping those three players and having three right to match cards. You're taking a big risk on Green. Green's got a bit of an injury at the present moment, so you might be able to get him cheaper in the auction. Glenn Maxwell is not shining the bright light, so they might be able to get him cheaper in the auction as well, plus other Indian players that they've got on their list that they might think about getting. 83 crore in the bank. I think RCB, a bit like Punjab Kings 11, with the quality of stock that's in the auction coming up, are setting themselves up beautifully for a good auction. And I think Punjab Kings and RCB are going to turn things around, and you'll see them playing more finals than what we've seen over the history of the IPL. I think these teams are going to lift. So out of all those squads, I'm happy with Sunrisers Hyderabad, Mumbai Indians, and I think the Kings and RCB going into the auction with plenty of cash in hand will end up with the best squads going forward in next year's tournament. That's the way I see it. Do you agree with me? Okay, as we're getting the special guest up here, I've got Tushar Bag here. Bag, how you react on not selecting Axar Patel for upcoming Border Gavaskar Trophy? What is your serious prediction of the five matches? Axar Patel, I'm just looking at my screen down here when I look away, because I've got the questions down there, if you're wondering. Axar Patel, he should have been over here in the Border Gavaskar Trophy. I think you've got that tall left arm off-spinning option. If Jadeja is injured or doesn't perform with the bat, then you can get Axar Patel to come in as well. I like the extra height with the off spinners over here. Gets that extra bounce, and I think Axar Patel could have caused a few problems over a 5-day period against Australia on Australian conditions with the ball more so than Jadeja. So, Tushar, I actually like your question there. That's a really good observation there. I like that. Axar Patel should have been over here for the Border Gavaskar Trophy. Okay, have we got our special guest on, or is he flown out somewhere else? Cronell, how are we going, mate? I told you it was going to be 9 minutes, and I've doubled that. Okay, sorry about that.
It's okay, Hoggy. How can I leave this show? I mean, it's a privilege, absolute privilege. I mean, I'm a huge admirer of Australian cricket from my childhood.
Yep.
Not because you guys win all the time, of course, not just because of that, but because of your work culture, your ethics, your professionalism to the game, and you have played with them, with some of the geniuses of Australian cricket at the highest level, and that's why I'm a little awestruck right now talking to you because I just can't believe it still.
Yeah, well, don't be awestruck, mate. I've been very lucky, and it's great that you're a fan of cricket. Your dad was a fan. Your granddad was a fan as well. And if we didn't have the fans, our game wouldn't be as good as it is. And how do you feel about Australia getting pounded by Pakistan in today's one-day international? You've got to be happy with that, don't you?
I've got mixed feelings. I think no, I was expecting that because in ODI cricket recently, Australia, just because of their competitive spirit, They are winning matches that they shouldn't have
Yeah,
uh, many a times. They are not absolutely on top of their game when it comes to ODI cricket yet, uh,
yeah.
especially in last 2 3 years. So when they lose, I don't feel it, as surprising as it would 6 or 7 years ago.
Right. Good. Good. Yeah. No, that's good. Now, have you got some questions for me? So, because there's a few
Yeah,
questions coming in. Aditya Rayo, how are we going? Anupam, good to see you again. And we'll get to some of those questions after Cornell asks me a question or two. Come on, hit me hard,
yeah,
Cornell.
yeah, sure. Huggy, seriously, be honest. Uh, Tell me about today's Test cricketers' ability compared to 15 years ago. Let's say 2005. A batter's ability to stay on the wicket for a longer period of time, the
Mm.
techniques, their patience levels, their fitness, a bowler's accuracy, a bowler's discipline, a bowler's fitness, of course, to last for 5 days
Yep.
compared to 2005 and right now.
I think the bowler's fitness, the fast bowler's fitness, is probably not as good as back in 2005. The reason being is not because of lack of professionalism as such, more so the different formats that they're playing. They're going from Test cricket to one-day cricket to T20 cricket. So they've got to be an endurance athlete, then also they've got to be a power athlete as well. It's very difficult on a fast bowler's body. And that's one thing that the cricket administrators really have to look at. That's one area of the game that I am really concerned about because fast bowling is important. Sheer pace is important for all three formats. There's nothing better than seeing a quick bowler having that moment where they're really on song, they're in sync, they're in rhythm, and they're bowling the quickest that they possibly can. And the batsmen are jumping around. It's not going to happen all the time, but those moments we want to see in all three formats. So for me, the bowlers are the fast bowlers are the ones that kind of struggle as we go from through the three different formats when it comes back to Test cricket. Pat Cummins, Mitchell Stark, and Hazelwood seem to be doing really well. But they focus or they put more of their attention on Test cricket. I think as we go around the globe to other nations, I think the fast bowlers in those other nations, the up and coming fast bowlers, are starting to think more of T20 cricket because of all the T20 tournaments around. And especially if you're in India, you can play in an IPL and get good money, and all of a sudden you don't have to ruin your body playing Test match cricket. And very rarely do you see Indian fast bowlers doing well in Indian conditions. You generally go to spin, which is good because you've got to have that home ground advantage. So when it comes to batters, I think batters now, when it comes to Test level, especially those that play a little bit more white ball format, taking the easy option out, saying, "Oh, I just play that aggressive brand of cricket." But when it comes to a seaming wicket where the fast bowlers are getting it to deviate, especially on day one and day two, where it's a little bit greener, they don't have that defensive game. So I think the batting out Test level has really dropped off over the last couple of years because they're looking to play this more aggressive brand, and they can't defend when times are tough because they're playing too much white ball cricket. So that they are the areas. It's a really good question and a great discussion point for future as well. So I think the patience has started to drop off in both the bowling and batting departments. Great question, that Cornell. Great question.
Yeah, yeah, even Huggy, I feel it's not just about orders of all kinds of formats, but more so, uh, I understand, youngsters these days are more inclined towards T20 cricket because of the amount of money it has got and everything. But
Yep.
committed cricketers, like even great cricketers like Virat Kohli, uh, I feel him struggling because of the constant switching of the formats. And what
Yeah.
happens is that when you want to play all kinds of formats, when you straight away come from a T20 series to a Test series,
Yeah.
your subconscious mind sometimes forgets what kind of format you're playing and plays kind of shot which you wouldn't believe a batsman like Virat Kohli would play 15 years ago.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
I feel that switching from one format to another is a huge issue for today's cricketers.
It is. It is. And I was watching Virat Kohli. Some of the shots that he played in that last Test series against New Zealand
Absolutely.
weren't his natural stroke play for Test cricket. Normally, he's a lot more patient. Normally, he wants to wear down the bowler. And yeah, he was showing aggression, but I think he was showing too much aggression. I think he got overexcited. But when he's playing against Australia and when he was at his best, he was very aggressive, but in a defensive, but very strong with his defense as well. So you can have that aggression, but that aggression's got to be to blunt the opposition team, not to try and blast them out. I think in that New Zealand team, I think India took them too lightly from ball one, and they were trying to catch up throughout the series, and they couldn't turn things around. So well done to New Zealand for holding their head there, and that's something that India have got to turn around before they get down here to Australia. So when they get down here to Australia, the likes of Virat Kohli have got to get back to that mindset. Yes, I've got to stamp my authority. I've got to have that body language where I'm showing the opposition that I'm going to attack you. I'm going to have that aggression. You're not going to beat me. That's where he's so good 5 years ago. At the moment, he's trying to use that aggression and show it with the bat rather than the body language. And it's a great point that you bring up. As you go through those three different formats, it's really starting to affect players' game at that Test level. Even Steve Smith has had his struggles as well. And yeah, it just goes back to that point. How can they set themselves up in those tough situations when the wicket is actually doing something to really grind, graft, work the ones, and put the pressure back on the bowlers? And I think when you're talking about subconscious and mindset, this series here between Australia and India goes over a long period of time. The first Test match, the importance of the first Test match is not so much the win, but more so how long you keep the opposition fast bowlers out in the middle in the Test matches of Perth, Brisbane, and Adelaide, because seam is going to play a big part in those three Test matches. So if you can wear the opposition bowlers down in that first Test match, you set yourselves up for success in Tests 2 and 3 and later on in the series. So that's a strong mindset that both teams have got to go in. Australia's got to try and wear Boomerang down as much as possible in that first Test. And I think India have got to really attack or wear Stark and Hazelwood out. I think Pat Cummins, he's got a good motor on him, but because he's captain, you know that he's going to be playing all the Test matches, whereas the other two are probably going to be rested as well. So you know that Pat Cummins is going to be worn out. But if you can wear the other two out, Australia got to make changes. And I think one of Australia's second bowlers, Nisa, has got an injury as well from the Australia A game. So that's a big thing that India have got to look out. So that's a great question. I'm just going to take a quick question from Austin DeCuna here. Rishabh Pant at RCB. I'm going to love it. Thoughts? Should RCB look to back Chahal as well, or Chahal? Predict your highest run scorer for India in the Border Gavaskar Trophy. Rishabh Pant, there's a big opportunity for him to go to RCB as well. How good would that be? Virat Kohli and Rishabh Pant out the same club. And if he goes there, short boundaries, ball coming onto the bat, RCB will be making some big scores. Should RCB look out Chahal as well? I think that would be great. He's not there with Rajasthan Royals, and RCB could use him for a bit of pressure on the Royals to use a right to match card as well. So watch out for that. If Chahal is later on in the auction, Rajasthan Royals haven't got a quality spinner, all of a sudden there's going to be a fight for Chahal there. And my highest run scorer for India in the Border Gavaskar Trophy, I think it has to be Pant. He plays that aggressive game. He bats down the lower part of the order, and when the pressure's on, he generally scores freely and scores well. He's probably the most consistent Indian batsman at the moment. Every time he goes in, generally you feel as though he's going to make runs. The other one would be Jaswell as well, but I'm just a little bit worried about his technique over here with the extra bounce. Plays a little bit low and away from his body. Can he tighten that up, or can he play more cut shots on these bouncier wickets when the ball's just outside off stump and try and hit between backward point rather than that back foot half cut, half defence, push through those covers? That's something that Jaswell will look at. If he can get that cut shot going, watch out, big runs. Okay, Cornell, back to you. We're going to get one question from you, and then I'm going to get another question from the guys here that are writing it in. Yep.
Yeah, Huggy, is it a time for cricket boards now to consider specialists for each format, like specialist test cricketers for test cricket, separate 11 bunch of players for only and only T20 cricket, and separate ODI team as well, so that the players would understand and plan accordingly and adjust their techniques according to that particular format, so that their minds, don't get confused in a very, very high pressure situation.
Oh, look, I'd love that situation to happen, but then I don't like that situation to happen as well, because I think the best players are those ones who are able to adapt to the three different formats. The other thing is, you look here in Australia, we don't really have the depth of players to be able to really have a test team and straight out and out whiteboard teams as well. We don't have enough depth in our bowling attacks, and probably in our batting, we're just a little bit light on there. India, they've got the depth to be able to do that, but I still think you've got someone like Boomerang who you need for all three formats. But I think in the batting department, you're starting to see that there's a little bit of specialisation starting to happen as we speak now. So India have got the depth, but really the other teams, other nations don't really have that depth. England, out the moment, seem to be scratching around to try and do that, a similar thing to what India are doing. But I still think there's holes starting to be found there with England, especially when it comes to the test playing nation or their test side. It's all based around Root. Root's the one that tries to hold the innings. The rest of the batsmen there are all playing this aggressive brand of cricket. So, yeah, England don't really have the depth as well. So it's really only India that can optimize different players in those different formats. It's a great question. If we had more players, the ability would be there. But with the IPL and the 2 months of cricket over in the IPL, or 2.5 months now, I think it is, that puts pressure on our board over here in Australia as well, because some of our top players are playing in the IPL. Then they've got to come back, and we've got to try and fit them in all three formats as well. So the pressure's really on those particular players. So there's big decisions that need to be made moving forward, whether that's kick the one-day format out and just have T20s and Test cricket, or you just have World Cups for T20 cricket and 50 overs and stop these bilateral series that are happening and just play international Test cricket all year round, and then just have a World Cup every 2 years with the 50 over format and the 2020 over format. And you try and balance your team up with Test players that can score a little bit quicker than your defensive players at Test level for the 50 over game, joined with a few T20 cricketers to be able to take the game away. That's a good question. Making me think, Cornell. All right, let's just go down here. Anupam, I'm going to get one of yours in a minute. Oh, you've got a good one. Is Australia looking Josh Inglis as future captain? What do you think? Joshy Inglis moving forward as a future captain. Or they could be looking at him. He's got a very good cricket brain on his shoulders. He might be a future captain in the white ball format. Is he going to be a future captain at Test level? I don't think so, because he's fighting for a spot there with Alex Carey. But in the shorter format, there's a huge opportunity for him to captain moving forward. And he's what's the score now up there? Pakistan a number 43. So he's got to show his true captaincy potential now with the way that he rotates the bowlers in this one-day game today. So, yeah, good question, that one. Right, Cornell, have you got another one for us?
Hoggy, what was the reason of, when you used to bowl? I clearly remember your accent pretty vividly. Uh, when you used to bowl, with your tongue little bit out with the, trying to bowl.
Yeah.
Was it to distract your?
Yeah, well, you just sort of cut in and out there, but it's something to do with the tongue. Look, quite simply, if I'm concentrating, my tongue's out. So my school teachers would always know whether I was switched on or not when I was doing the work. So I'll get it here. So if I wasn't concentrating, I'll be just. If I was concentrating, it would be like that. So they could see the body language is not good. So when I'm in meetings now,
No.
and I'm a little bit tired, and people know me, I just I sort of have the tongue out, trying to rest, so that they think that I'm switched on, but I'm not. So I've learned to be a bit of a prankster with it now, but there was. Yeah, it's one of those things. I did try and bowl in the nets with my tongue in, out the whacker, and
Okay.
I think it was 10 balls that I bowled, and I was hitting the top of the net, the side of the net. I did not land one of them. So the tongue was my little runner. That's a really good question. All right, I've got to get one from. There was one here. I'm just going to go back up. Where are we? Scroll back up here. Cameron Green should play. This is run to know him. Maybe. Trying to get there. There was someone that I haven't seen here before. SK Solarina Sheikh Virat Huck. How are you playing? Very nice when you were playing for KKR in Kolkata. It was very nice. I loved playing for KKR. I thought KKR was a fantastic organisation. I really enjoyed playing for Rajasthan Royals as well. Absolutely loved it over there in India. And the good thing about those two teams was that they're up north of the country. Rajasthan had plenty of open space. I come from a place where there's plenty of open space. The closest family to me was 5 k's down the road, at least 5.5 k's down the road, and that just gives you an indication of how far away we are over here in some parts of Australia. And KKR just with their organisation, with Shah Rukh Khan, a big movie star being the owner, just his interaction with the players and making us feel welcome, and Mysore as well, Venky Mysore, the manager, they just made us feel so welcome, and we still keep in touch. It's just a beautiful thing with KKR. I absolutely love them. Thanks very much for that, SK. All right, Cornell, have you got another question?
Yeah, Huggy. As a cricket lover, I just want to know one thing, and one thing which is bothers me a little bit.
Yep.
As the game which we love and adore, cricket, is it in a transitional phase or is it declining?
Hang on, go back again. I didn't understand that first bit.
Our great sport, cricket, is it in a transitional phase or is it declining in terms of players, techniques, in terms of the sheer talent we used to see? I mean, I haven't seen a bowler bowling faster than Shoaib Akhtar since last 15 years. I haven't seen a player who plays spin and quick bowling easily like Matthew Hayden or Sachin Tendulkar. We haven't seen another Shane Warne. We haven't seen, uh, you know, another Glenn McGrath. Uh,
Yep, yep,
Fast bowlers in all of the countries, barring England, Australia, and India, are declining in a big way. Pakistan was a huge factory of pace bowlers,
yep,
but look at the state right now.
yeah.
So I'm worried. Other than top three countries, I'm worried about the declining standards of cricket of other countries.
Yeah, definitely. I think we're in a. I think we're more in a transition phase at the moment. I think we've got different, the three different formats, and yeah, it's a little bit of a worry. What do the young kids want to play? So it's not. I'm more worried about 5 years down the track. Is Test cricket still going to be a viable option? Because if you don't have those fast bowlers there, it's not as exciting. It's not going to be a good product. So do the youngsters that want to bowl fast just want to play the shorter format of the game? Um, I was just over in Hong Kong just recently, and there was a six-a-side tournament there in Hong Kong, and Pakistan versus Australia. I think it was semi-final. If you can watch the first 4 overs of this game, so you've only got four fielders in the deep, but Sahab, Yamin, and Farim Ashraf uh, bowled in those first 4 overs, and it was the best 4 overs of pace that I have seen for about 15 years. They just
Oh
bowled
wow!
4 overs of solid Yorkers and hitting each Yorker to a T. It was brilliant bowling. I was on the edge of my seat
Wow!
the whole time, and it's a different format of the game. So I think the skill and the potential's still there. I just think the way that we're bringing youngsters up and the way that we're coaching, we have to be a little bit more creative with it to make sure that they are able to sustain a long career playing the three different formats. So I think it's more the way that we coach players, the way that we keep Test cricket important in the world, and if we can market that well, I think the small transition period that we've got here and maybe a drop off in certain skill areas will pick up again, hopefully. But we've got to market it well. We've got to educate our coaches to have players that are fit to be able to play all three different formats of the game. So it comes down to the coaches, administrators, to be able to be able to market it well for the kids out there. Because T20 cricket for me is taking over. The IPL, everyone just likes watching that. But the thing with the IPL, which I get worried about, it goes for 2.5 months. There's probably a period there halfway through where it just gets a little bit monotonous because there's a game every night, and I can see it. Yeah, and I can see it coming in about 5 to 10 years where they just go, right, bugger this. We're going to do it like an NFL season or an Australian rules footy season here, where we just play games on the weekend. So you have Thursday, Friday night, Saturday, Sunday, and then you have 3 or 4 days off break, and then you come back in. So that's the big move that I'm worried about with cricket moving forward is IPL starting to take the game uh, into that fashion, or taking that tournament into that fashion, not rather than having a game every night. Because seven days a night over 2.5 months, it's the first part of the season is sensational, and the last part of the season is brilliant. It's a great question that you got there, because you can discuss it. There's so many avenues and so many places that you can take that discussion with. Would you agree? Oh, Cornell, he's stopped there. He's stopped there. He's got a bit of a break there. While I am looking out here, here we go. Is Cornell there? No, he's gone. Anupam Dev, Australian batting seems to struggle more in Head's absence compared to when he's in the lineup. What's your take in this? Anupam, Travis Head is batting the best he has ever batted in his career. He is on top of the world. And you have that batter out the top of the order who can take the game on and score consistently. His absence out of the team is hugely lost. And I think you've got Matt Short there and Fraser McGurk who are taking the opportunity to find out who is going to replace David Warner in the white ball format to bat with Travis Head. So he's been sorely missed against Pakistan here, but it's giving opportunities for other youngsters. And that's probably what 50-over cricket is doing at the present moment, giving opportunities to other players. And some of those questions from Cornell actually highlight what is the value of these 50-over games. Should we be playing or should we be cutting back on international cricket and making sure that all players are fit so that we are giving the best product, or cricket is giving the best product to you, the fan out there watching the game. So, guys, Cornell's left. We've just got through 46 minutes and some questions. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll end it there. But we've got plenty of cricket to come. We've got live Hog Out next week as well. We can really start dissecting the Border Gavaskar Trophy, and you can bring in your big questions as well. Pakistan fans, get on board as well. Talk about how you're doing so well against Australia. Get stuck into me as well there. We've got Afghanistan taking on Bangladesh. Fans out there from that region, we can discuss that as well. So we've got plenty to talk about next week. Looking forward to it. Thanks for following me. But more importantly, thanks for your love of the game. May your team do well. Thanks, guys. Hog out.